Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. One thing I've learned in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. In January 2021, Charlotte Lockhart received a stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis. The diagnosis came after a breast cancer battle earlier in life and 17 years free of the disease. But this time, the cancer was incurable, and Charlotte was given 5 years to live. For those that are trying to place the name, Charlotte is an entrepreneur and philanthropist, best known as co-founder of the 4-Day Week, alongside her partner Andrew Barnes. Through her work and living with a terminal diagnosis, Charlotte has valuable insight and advice to share with us all when it comes to really living life and working out what's important. Charlotte, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in. You look fabulous.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel great. I've really, we can talk about it later, but I've got my life back together this year.
Wow, it's great to see you again,
yes,
actually, because we've met a couple of times. Okay, we'll do a couple of quick fire questions, so we're easing ourselves in. What's something that people don't know about you?
Well, there's probably a lot of people don't know that I spent nearly 10 years living in the Middle East when I was a young child bride. So I found that really fascinating, and it gave me a really good insight into, a different world.
Different culture.
Different culture. So not only the Gulf, but actually we lived in countries where you are part of the local community as well. And so understanding some of the dynamics that are on there, which was quite interesting given.
And did you have children there? No.
I had my eldest son there.
Yeah.
We were living in Egypt at the time, and we were kind of doing the whole, well, wait till we get back to New Zealand, or I'd go up to the UK to have a child. And but I met a gynecologist obstetrician, and she's like, why? She said, I'm trained in the UK, and she had this great set of qualifications and things. And she took me for a tour of the hospital and things, and so we went, okay, well, why not? And I'm one of those terrible people that lots of people don't like to know that the minute I decided I wanted to be pregnant, that was it. It happened. I had easy pregnancies and easy labours and got pregnant.
You're allowed.
Yeah. And so I've got 2 charming young men now.
I love that. Okay, if you could time travel, would you rather go to the past or the future?
Well, this is a really good question. I think that I would rather go to the past. I think the future is interesting, but I wouldn't want to fiddle with anything that's going on there. And let's face it, that's part of the excitement of life is what's going to happen next. So you don't want to ruin that. But there's some really interesting people in the past that I would quite like to meet. So I would want to be very specific about where in the past
What's
I'm
an
going.
example of someone?
Oh, look, I would love to have met Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah.
And Clementine Churchill.
Yep.
So 2 women that sat next to very strong and politically influential men, but were very influential in their own world. And I'm fascinated that no one's made a Clementine Churchill movie. There's enough information about her now, especially after the release of the Channon Diaries, the Chip Channon Diaries.
I said before that I want to go back and meet Kate Shepherd.
Yes.
And
another great
get the vote, right, for the woman. But now you've got me thinking that I'd quite like to go and meet her husband.
Yes.
Because what an extraordinary man he must have been.
Yes. I mean, how is that conversation for him down at the pub, or possibly they were prohibitionists, but, with his mates going, control your wife.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And him going, no, I'm she's doing her thing.
You fed that into my head. I think that's possibly not going to happen.
You never know. There's all sorts of incredible things happening in science.
Okay, so let's learn a bit more about you. I want to chat about your diagnosis and how you approach life, but I think we'll do that in the second half. So we've already started. Let's chat about you, but let's chat about your work.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. So we know you as the co-founder
of 4-Day Week Global.
Week.
Yeah, look, what a great journey that has been. You don't get too many chances to change the world. And so we did a 4-day week in Perpetual Guardian back in 2018.
But take me back a step first, because it sort of came about by you looking at productivity.
Well, we did.
And
so we did it. And so what we were interested in was, how do you improve productivity in the business?
Mm-hmm.
And we were curious about the fact that, was it that people's lives were getting in the way and they just weren't bringing their best selves to work, and their best selves weren't the people that we had at work, and was this happening, across the economy, around the world? But we were just interested in our business, and so we announced the 4-day week, and it was quite curious actually, because when Andrew's standing up there, he's going, "So I want you all to work just work 4 days," and there was this silence in the room.
Oh, because they think they were getting a pay cut.
I know, and he says, "But I'm going to pay you for 5," and then there's silence, and then followed by a nervous giggle, because people are like, how is that even going to work? But what, it's no secret, it was a huge success.
Could they choose their day?
Yeah, so what we started with when we first started doing it was that it was a 4-day week. You picked a day, because you can't have customers not being serviced. You can't. It had to fulfil the business objectives.
You couldn't have everybody having Friday off.
No, exactly. Although lots of organisations around the globe do. They just close for a day, and that's what suits their business. But for our business, that wasn't going to work. Now, where it's landed is we're a 30-hour work week business, so people can choose how they manage that 30 hours.
So they might do school hours, they might do...
Exactly. I mean, we've got a solo mother who does week about with her ex, and so she does, a longer week when she doesn't have her son, and a much shorter week when she does. And that allows her, so she manages a 60-hour fortnight.
Yeah. Nice.
And so, and so it's about actually how you fulfill the needs of the business. But what it did was it got people thinking, okay, so how can I do my job better? And a classic example was one of the team. She had part of her job role that took half the day on a Friday. And she knew that it could be sorted quite quickly with the changing of some processes. And so did her boss. But because it was part of her work week and everybody else was busy, and it just wasn't a priority to resolve. And so the minute you actually focus in on this, it became a priority. It took them, a couple of hours to sort it, and then it changed the whole process down to 10 minutes a week. And so there's lots of those sort of things in our businesses, but we don't identify with them because Parkinson's law of business, or of anything really, is that the job expands to the time that is available to do it, and so people just fill their week with the things that they have to get done. But when you actually focus in on how you're going to do things quicker, because you've got this amazing benefit of being able to go home, then and the business is empowering you to investigate those things, and you're not going to lose your job because you've said that you can do it in less time. You're not going to have less pay.
Am I still relevant?
Exactly. It's still the amount of work. It's still the same amount of productivity. It's still the same amount of output, but you're just doing it in less time. And hey-ho, what are you doing with that time? You are what we see from our global research is people spend more time with family, whether that be children or elderly parents or whatever. They spend more time at yoga or getting fit, on their own personal health, and they spend more time in their communities.
Nice.
And all of those things top you up. So then you're bringing a much better person to work, and you're happier. And so it's this delicious circle of happiness that just, you're bringing a better person to work, so therefore you work better, and then you go home, and then your home life is better. I mean, how is it if you go home, and your partner says to you, "How was your day?" There's still that report you haven't got done because you've just been busy and everybody's been interrupting you and nothing's gone right productivity-wise, and you just say, "Oh, look, my day's been rubbish." Whereas if you're empowered to have a really productive day and all of that's got done, you get home and your partner says, "How was your day?" You say, "I had a great day."
Yeah, I got so much done today.
I know.
Yeah, I powered through it.
Those are the days we really like. You stop and you feel like when you get home, you feel like you can stop.
But even your life is tidier. Does that make sense?
It is.
And I'm not using, well, I am actually in some respects. I know for me that if my house is clean and tidy and I've actually got to fold the laundry and I've sort of meal prepped and I'm a bit better, I'm tidier, then actually I work better.
Yes.
Because I know that my home life is kind of taken care of. And then as you say, it's like, well, actually I can go for an extra hour's walk when I get home with my dogs.
Exactly.
Or pop down and do sort clothes at the hospice shop, which I quite like doing at the moment.
Yeah. Well, these are the sort of things that we as New Zealanders are part of. I mean, we know through our work with Perpetual Guardian and with Give a Little that New Zealanders are really generous when they're given an opportunity. And it's not just money.
Yeah.
It's time. We like doing things.
Okay, so you have the idea, you do it within your own business. As you say, you're seeing all of these effects, but then you've taken it global. So how did that kind of happen and how do you get heard? And look, I met you at that time and I just know a whole lot of businesses were like, yeah, right.
Well, this is it. I mean, people...
Good on you, Charlotte and Andrew. You do you and
and leave us alone. And to be fair, I get quite a lot of hate from places like the US where they're going, "You're ruining the world." Oh. But it's not rocket science. When you treat people well, they will be better at work. That is just the way it is. And there is global research, not just ours, but all sorts of research that actually reflects that. And it's actually economically viable for businesses to do it. But what actually happened was it was a huge success. We had media all over the world calling us, from pretty much every economy that especially all the Western ones initially. And you could follow the media, media waking up around the globe as they started ringing us when they read the paper of the one, as they woke up. Yeah. And so it sort of went round through to the west coast of the US. But the reason why it ended up being a much bigger thing was that we travel up and down to the UK quite a bit, and I thought, actually, you know what? We'd had all these people engage with us, and I thought, well, let's meet a few of them. So we met with the leaders at the TUC, which is their equivalent of the CTU, which we have here, right? The unions, and had a chat to them. But the person I think that I'd like to lay this at the feet of is an academic from Oxford University called Jan Emanuel de Neve. Mm-hmm. And Jan Emanuel, he's Belgian, and he studies well-being in the workplace. And he said, look, can we meet? Can we meet? I said, okay, fine. He says, look, I want you to meet. We'll meet at LSE, London School of Economics, and we'll meet up with Richard Layard. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Don't know who Richard Layard is, right? And so he is so excited to meet us. So excited that we did research on the thing. Thank you, Auckland University and Auckland AUT, for doing that. And he was just like, you have just fed completely into what I have been trying to study and all this thing. And so I decided that probably there was something that we should do with this. And so then at the same time, we had a very keen person from Kickstarter in the US, and he wanted to run a campaign in the US. And then there was a pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. So can we go to COVID and working from home, and because does that change the concept of the 4-day working week?
No, because it's about productivity and time. So it doesn't matter where. Where's irrelevant. And what a lot of businesses found is that when their people did go home, if they managed productivity well, productivity went up. people were working less hours anyway.
And you are kind of getting that, you can put the washing on when you're grabbing a cup of coffee.
Yes, exactly.
And, do things differently.
Yeah.
It does suit some people and it doesn't suit others.
No.
I'm not a great work from home person. I can get easily distracted. So,
How's that ADHD working?
Yeah, how is it? And so that's quite interesting. So no, it didn't affect because it doesn't matter where.
It doesn't. Where is irrelevant, but it does make a difference to how you manage productivity and keep an eye on it. I mean, we have lots of businesses around the world go, well, but how do you manage productivity? And I'm like, well, what are you measuring now? Well, what do you do if productivity goes down? I'm like, well, what do you do now? There's lots of excuses for why you think, oh, no, look, times are tough. Now's not the time to do it. Oh, so now's not the time to focus in on your productivity.
Yeah.
When you think about it as sensible business decisions.
But there's even simple things like, I'm lucky. I've got a lot of flexibility in my job and I get to do a lot. But, 3 times a week, I actually won't leave home until after 9 and I'm more productive because I'm in the car and I can ring all my clients.
Yes.
When I'm leaving at 7, it's going to take me an hour.
Yes.
I'm actually not going to do any work in that hour.
No.
Whereas I can sit at home and do emails and catch up.
Yes.
And then I'm ready to leave when the traffic's all died down. So I'm saving the planet.
You are.
And I'm working for that 30 minutes it takes.
Well,
and I'm more productive.
And that's one of the things about reducing work time is it is actually better for the planet because people aren't travelling as much. They are travelling outside of rush hour.
Yeah.
There's you're spreading the load in terms of a whole pile of infrastructure resources. So it is, and that's one of the things that we see from our global research is that it is better for the planet.
So if there's people listening that want to know more for their own businesses, where can they go to get
4dayweek.com.
There you go. It's easy. 4dayweek.com. Go and do it.
Yeah.
Great. I've been so inspired, Charlotte, reading about your journey since your terminal diagnosis. And so I want to chat about that. So we'll take a break and come back to talk about what's important in life and how to get on with it. Welcome back. Okay, Charlotte, I touched on your story in the introduction, but talk me through getting that diagnosis and what it was like for you at that point. Because 17 years ago, you had breast cancer. You went through, you've been cancer-free. And so what? You're sitting there, you've got a bit of pain.
Yeah, well, so when I first had my original diagnosis back in 2004, my kids were really little as well. So, but I was only stage 2 and there's fabulous treatments and I wasn't given any reason to believe that I wouldn't beat it.
As so many women do.
As so many women do.
Yeah,
and lots of, absolutely. And there is even better treatments now. So I had this pain in my shoulder. For probably about a year. And I was just, it's a strain that I've got. Yeah. And so I went to see the delightful Stan Govender at St. Mark's. He was the one that did my surgery originally. Okay. And he looks at it and he goes, interesting. And I went, in a good way? Yeah. And he goes, let's get it scanned and see where we're at. And unfortunately, there was a reasonable sized lump here in my shoulder. And so and I hadn't fully grasped, even though I know a little bit about this already, that it was secondary as a consequence. So I had this lump here and so we went and had an ultrasound and there was a couple of other lumps and so biopsies and all that sort of thing. And he rang me and he said, are you sitting down? And I said, no, I'm driving. I'll just pull over. And he said, no, look, your cancer's back. You're going to need to see a medical oncologist. And he said, who would you like to see? Now, so a plug Did you
just go treatment?
I just assumed, exactly. I just assumed it. Now, so plug here for medical insurance. Got to say, people, if you've got an employer that is offering medical insurance, take it every time a coconut. It just makes things easy. We have a great health system here, but having private care does make a difference to this bit here, your head, that how you process, because you can get information quickly.
Okay.
So
you're treatment.
Yeah,
Right.
he said, you're going to need to see a medical oncologist. Have you got anybody you'd like to see? And I said, no, I just want to see whoever you can get me into fastest. He says, male, female. I said, I literally don't care. I just want to see someone quickly. So that was on the Wednesday. By the Friday, I'm in seeing the delightful Dr. Catherine Hahn. And I took a girlfriend with me because Andrew was in MIQ again. And so I'm like, okay, right, so we're just going, I'm going to cut it out and a bit of chemo and we'll be done. And she said, no, it's, you understand that this isn't curable.
Really?
And I hadn't joined the dots until that moment.
I suppose because you'd had it earlier as well. So, you were like, well, I dealt with it then. I'll deal with it now.
Exactly. I mean, I'm a practical girl.
Yeah.
Let's just get this done. Number 8 wire, finish it off.
So how did that hit you? I mean,
what
was that?
Like a shotgun. I'm like, oh. And so then you're lost for words. And then, and my
Do you believe the words?
Well, the thing is that it's stage 4. There is no cure for them. We know this at the moment.
There's no stage 5.
There's no stage 5, right? There's nothing that doesn't progress from this. So it's stage 4, advanced, metastatic, secondary. There's a whole pile of names for it. But really what it means is that the cancer's gone away from the primary place. So I've still got breast cancer, even though it was in my shoulder.
Okay.
If it goes to my lungs or my liver or my brain, it's still breast cancer. That's the type of cancer that we're treating. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Cancer's clever, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not lung cancer if it's in your lungs. It's still breast cancer.
Yeah, okay.
But what it means is it's escaped.
Yeah.
And then once it's escaped, it's like whack-a-mole. They really have no idea how to cure it. But there are great treatments.
Okay.
And
that give you a quality of life and prolong and...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are also various different types of breast cancer as well. So I'm lucky. I'm hormone receptor positive, HER2 negative, which is the more common one, but it's also the one where there are the most number of treatments. And so there are layers, and I've responded really well to treatment. So I've been very lucky. I had my after a year, I was having quarterly scans, and my 4th scan, there was no evidence of the disease. So,
but as you say, that doesn't mean it's necessarily gone away.
No, it just means they can't detect it.
Yeah.
So interestingly, fun fact, I found out when I was up at Cambridge University recently, the scan technology that we have picks up so much, but we can actually only utilise about 10% of what it actually picks up. There's so much more we can do with that technology in terms of what we will be able to see in the future and things.
So 5 years to live.
Yeah.
Do they give you a number?
Well, they say, she says, look, the thing is, she said, we just don't know.
No.
It could be as little as 2 years, could be 5, could be longer. The drug I'm on is what's called a palbociclib. Try saying that after a couple of whiskies. And it disrupts the cancer cell growth cycle. And it was released in around 2016. It's been funded in New Zealand. Tarmac, yay. Doing some things right.
Yeah, trying.
Since 2019.
Okay.
And so, and it is absolutely keeping women alive. And there are women that have been on it for years and years and years and years and years and years. So with any of these things, you become your own scientific experiment. Yeah. So I also went on an off-label treatment regime that I accessed because I'm in the UK enough. So I don't know what's working, but after my 4th scan showed no evidence of disease, and that's where I sit right now.
Okay, so you're a year in, as you say, your 4th scan quarterly. You've got this treatment obviously working for you. How do you plan out your next few years? How has it changed who you are or who you were?
Well, and
does it change you?
It does, and it probably changed me more this time round. I mean, obviously it's a heavier diagnosis, but because you live in this grey area. Am I going to be alive in 5 years' time, or am I going to? So I just work on the basis that I'm just living for the next 5 years. So I plan out for that time, and we call it my health window. But my health window might last until I'm 80, 90 or 100, because the medical advances, some of which are here in New Zealand.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, the Malligan Institute with what they're doing with CAR T cell research. Shout out if you're a triple negative. There's some stuff that's going on there that will be groundbreaking, global groundbreaking.
So as you say, the technology. I mean, because I'm involved with Pharmac, I've constantly got this, horizon scanning and all the rest of it. And look, I'm not being at all disrespectful to that. And of course, we have to have an eye on the future. But we didn't know 5 years ago what would be available now.
No,
we didn't know that we would have CAR T cell therapy. We didn't know about immunotherapy. We didn't know about weight loss drugs, actually, that are fundamentally changing people's lives and freeing up the health system.
Yes.
So, yes, we always need a view on the horizon, but equally, man, it's just changing so quickly.
Absolutely.
And it's going to continue to change even more rapidly.
And AI is really, and so the pandemic, of course, has given us this opportunity to really understand how we can expedite medical advances and drugs and treatments because we had to do it for the pandemic. But what's happening now, and I've spent a bit of time up at Cambridge University with their new Cancer Research Institute and interviewing the people that are up there, and what AI is allowing them to do will mean that they can bring drugs and treatments to the market far quicker. And so therefore the likes of Pharmac and NICE in the UK and places like that, one of the changes that you've got to make is how you can manage pace.
Yeah, and meet New Zealanders' quite right expectations of actually able to. And we're so far behind in even being able to fund all of the medicines that we should be now, let alone thinking about. But we are, you'll be pleased to know, spending a lot of time and right across the health system on how we access these emerging therapies that are just fundamentally extending life and curing. It's just incredible what you can do at the moment.
Yeah, well, one of the women that I interviewed in the UK, she along with a team that have developed a new drug technology, basically has a cure for triple negative and BRCA breast cancer.
There you go. Okay, let's talk about living life.
Yes.
Because that's what you are doing.
Oh, absolutely. Look, and look.
And so have you got a bucket list? Do you just...
Yeah, look.
Are you a planner?
Yeah. No, I've got a spreadsheet. And a list. I'm sometimes get called Mrs. Schindler because I've always got a list. No, I'm an adventure person. I like adventure.
Oh, do you?
We've done the Peking to Paris car rally twice.
Wow. How far is that?
It's 15,000 kilometres. It takes about 36 days, depending on the route that they take.
You're racing?
It's a rally. Part of it's racing. It's all time segments. So you're not going hell for leather.
Okay.
Everything's it's very complicated.
Okay, I don't need the
so I
complicated
drive.
bit.
Andrew navigates.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm a better driver than Andrew, but Andrew's a better navigator.
Okay.
So you drive from Beijing and you end up in Paris on a prescribed route. You're not just going left or right, darling.
Yeah.
It is.
I love that.
It is. So we do that.
And you love travel, as you say.
I love travel.
You've got a big birthday coming up in a couple of years.
Oh, have I now? Yeah. Yes. So I'm planning.
What are you going to plan to do for that?
So we're going to go back to Egypt, where Andrew, my son, was born, and we're taking my kids and their wives and hopefully Andrew's children will come down from the UK as well. So we'll have this big family trip back to Egypt.
Might be a baby by then.
Hopefully not a baby.
I won't put pressure on
just then. But I'm quietly confident that at some stage in the next couple of years, and back to living life. So I used to say when my children were young, and there'll be a lot of parents out there that will relate to this. I'm only being a mother so I can be a grandmother. What a great job description. You're a grandmother.
Yeah, I am.
What a great job description as being a grandmother. But then when I got my diagnosis and I thought, hell's teeth, I might not be a grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me realise that with that one statement, I had wished my children's life away. I'd wished their childhood away. See, it seems perfectly innocent to say, I'm loving the idea of being grown, but growing old is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah.
So not everybody gets those things. So you've got to learn how to live a little bit in the now, a little bit in the near future, and a little bit in the planning out the further future.
Right.
And that's the grey that when you have an incurable condition, whether it's cancer or anything like that, it's living in that grey and not knowing if you can plan for the next 20 years or not. But then people have, which is not helpful when you're diagnosed with something like this. But people do say, "Oh yeah, but we're all dying."
Oh.
And it's not helpful because I'm like, well, I tell you what, I'll have your health, and you can have my incurable cancer, and then we'll see how you feel.
Yeah.
But and everybody goes, "Oh yeah, but my father," and it's like, settle, petal, don't say it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, also though, we are all dying. You should not ever believe that you're going to get all the opportunities up to your 80s.
That's right.
and
I'll
90s.
wait until
I'm wait. You can't live your life waiting for that. And so, and look, life is messy, and sometimes you don't have a good now, and your near future doesn't feel good. And so you've got to try and find ways to change that for yourself. No one else is going to change anything for you. You've got to change your life. You've got to decide what steps you're going to take.
But is that your headspace? Is that your own attitude that you have to?
You have to.
Because a diagnosis like that has to knock you around.
It does.
You're human.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, but you've got to, at some point, you've got to go, look, the bits that's going to cure me is my brain, my mind, how I manage my psychology around this. Surround yourself with people who care.
Yeah.
There is a great thing where if you are around how you can manage emotions in this. So at the centre of concentric circles going out is the patient, and the patient is allowed to complain to anyone else that's in these other concentric circles. The next concentric circle is your immediate family, and then there is people outside of that, friends, and then so as you get further in terms of closeness, and you're only ever allowed to complain out. You can't complain in. So your partner can't complain to you. They can complain to other people in their circle.
Yeah.
But you as the patient, you're the only one that's allowed to complain out. But you also have to help yourself out.
Yeah.
And so finding ways to find bliss. And, there's all these lovely psychological things, wake up in the morning, have a Post-it note on thing, going, this is going to be a great day.
Yeah.
Or, this is a great day. You're supposed to say it in the here and now, but today is a great day.
Positive affirmations and things really do.
Exactly, and sometimes you are pulling yourself out of the quagmire, the quicksand to do it.
Yeah.
But if you aren't going to help yourself out, you can't find and be available for people who want to help you too.
Can we talk about your philanthropy? And I think this is always a good reminder to people as well that philanthropy certainly can be about money and all of these amazing charities, but it can equally be about using your own talents and skills and time, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you chair Give a Little.
Yep.
Tell me about the, and we all know Give a Little and we all understand that. I didn't know a lot about the charity Sweet Louise. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so Sweet Louise, the wonderful people at Sweet Louise. So it was set up by Scott Perkins when his wife Louise passed away, and by Scott and Louise's sisters and family. And it was to recognise and manage a way to support women with, or actually people, because men get breast cancer too. Let's not forget the men in this, but to support people with metastatic breast cancer. So it doesn't support any other type of cancer or any other stage. It's once you get to that. And they provide a network to and they have coffee mornings, and they provide a network around that. They have gift packages that they send out, and it's a whole crazy place that actually is just there. There's a Facebook page and a community to join, and they've just done some research around how they connect in with younger women who is, most people think, oh yeah, it's my age of women that are getting this, but we've got a whole pile of members who have not even had children yet. They're getting their first thing they hear about breast cancer is when someone says you've got incurable breast cancer and you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
And so you've got all of that to navigate, and what that looks like, it's very different than what it is for me. And so we've just done some research at Sweet Louise around that. But this is Sweet Louise. My oncologist said to me, you're going to have questions, here's my number, but you need to contact into the Breast Cancer Foundation, and you need to contact Sweet Louise. And I did. I sent a message through their thing, and I said, I'm dying. I don't know what to do. And they have volunteers, and she rang me straight away. She said, it's not my day to be working, but she said, don't worry, we've got you.
Yeah.
And having someone like that just pick up the phone straight away, because that was what I thought I was
feel
happening.
A bit emotional about that.
Know,
Sorry.
But exactly. Because that's what was going through my head, and I had this whole process around.
And you didn't want to say that to Andrew, and you didn't want to say it to you, which I'm sure you were, but there's something kind of powerful in being able to put that out.
Exactly.
And then have someone reach right back in.
Yeah, and just having them sort of just say, we got you with this. Come on your journey with us.
Yeah.
And so we were in a fortunate position to be able to fund into an organisation like that. But I also tell people all around New Zealand, Sweet Louise is just doing such amazing work, and just I was at the coffee morning for the Auckland Central group, and Ellie, who was the leader there, she had a gift package, a little Christmas gift package for us. There was maybe 15, 20 women there. She had hand-painted a Christmas card for every single one.
Wow.
She crocheted a little heart on a keychain thing for us all. And then there were a whole pile of other things in this little bag. But that's the sort of people that they have that is there. And the stories that come out of that, like, there was, there's one woman, so I'm fortunate I'm in a situation where I can afford private health insurance, and so I've got one layer of it. But there are people who are just juggling every single dollar, and, making a decision as to whether there's going to be...
I was going to say, a hideous decision.
Well, making a decision as to whether there's petrol in the lawnmower or in the car so they can
Or do I remortgage the house and leave my young family...
Well, it's assuming they even have a house.
Yeah. But do I leave my young family financially a lot worse off because I can't afford treatment?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I'm going to die anyway.
Yeah.
So for the hope that
the decisions that people have to make are just beyond imagination in terms of what we do, and of course how quickly you are diagnosed is also the thing. The earlier we diagnose any of this, the better the treatments can be. And that's why if you're out there and you haven't had your mammogram recently, go and have your mammogram. Nothing's going to happen by having the mammogram. But if you do have breast cancer and finding it early, then there's no reason to believe that you won't get to live the rest of your life in the same old way.
Okay, Charlotte, podcast is called Ask Me Anything, and so far I've done all the asking, but what a fascinating story, and thank you for all of the advice you've given. But this is your opportunity to ask me something if you would like to.
Yes, well, you've sort of covered it off a little bit, because I'm very fascinated by the work that you're doing with Pharmac. I was very supportive of Rachel Smalley. What a woman, putting herself on the line to advocate for us, and the hate that came into her as a consequence of that, but someone that is absolutely prepared to advocate for change, and change has happened as a consequence. And here you are sitting, right at the heart of something that is going to be a significant change for New Zealand with Pharmac.
I suppose I'd just sort of say don't, when I was contemplating going into the role, I've got to be honest, it scared me. And some of the advice that I got from other people were, oh, God, you can pretty much do what you want. Why don't you do something fun?
Yes.
You've sort of got a bit of a choice and, here's all these. And I just went, oh, I love the challenge. And I want to do something meaningful. And it's a bit like, we were sort of saying before, yes, money's great, but actually it's using the talents and I had a particular set of skills and experiences that actually not many people do. And so I'd really started thinking about how I could use that for good. And it was actually a whole bunch of parents that their children and themselves actually had SMA, so spinal muscular atrophy. And I'd gotten to know them over the years and helped them on how to advocate and how to sort of do it. And I still keep in touch with them, of course, and I still see their faces. And, the idea that even if it scares you, actually that's probably more meaningful. Yeah. And you should go and do it.
Well, and you can make a huge impact on New Zealand with this one yes that you do.
And know what you're good at and what you're not.
Well, there is that.
So I'll never pronounce all the drugs properly.
No.
Charlotte, thank you so much for coming in and for sharing your story today. It's just, I think it's going to help a lot of people out there. We all know someone, we're either there ourselves, it's part of a journey.
Yeah.
And you look great. I think that optimism, that courage that you show and you're giving back is really something.
Look, and I think that everybody can give back in a small way. You don't have to change the world. You don't have to go global. You could actually just go next door and speak to your neighbour. There are just so many simple things that we can do as New Zealanders, and we're really good at it, and we just need to remember who we are sometimes.
Thank you so much, and that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check out some of our past fabulous guests while you were there. Charlotte mentioned Jake and Bailey, and he is well worth going listening to. What an inspirational young man. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.